Manifestation isn't about creating something from nothing, nor is it about transforming yourself into someone new to craft the reality you desire. The concept that you need to work tirelessly, refining yourself and your techniques, is a common misconception. It's born from a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality unfolds. Most of us, we're taught that manifestation is a magical creation, pulling desires from a void through effort of will, or force of will, and affirmations. This belief supports the idea that your efforts, your affirmations, your visualizations, your rigorous discipline are molding the clay of the cosmos into your personal design. Yet, manifestation is not about creation. It's revelation. It's all about revelation. What exists around you is not springing up from non-existence. It's being revealed from what was always there, based on who you are identifying with. A separate self, or your true self, or I am, or God's self. Your reality is not being created, it's being experienced. It's being revealed to you. The notion that you have to struggle, isolate yourself from potential triggers, or endlessly discipline your mind, have a clean mental diet, stems from identification with what I call the separate self or the ego self. This identification is just a bundle of thoughts, stories, and emotions you've mistakenly accepted as truth. It demands a lot of effort for your desires to manifest, insisting that you must create your reality as if from nothing. But if you believe you're constructing every detail of your life afresh or repeatedly, you're under the spell of a great illusion. You really are. So let's cut through this illusion with a simple exercise of what I call a guided pause. Ask yourself, are you aware right now? Watching this, can you acknowledge your awareness? Of course, the answer is a resounding, yes, I am aware. And if you ask, am I aware of being aware of the sound of my voice, for instance? Again, the answer remains an unwavering, yes, I am. Notice this. Now, notice what this awareness is like. What are the qualities of this awareness? This awareness is not closed or limited. It's open, borderless, endless. Don't take my word for it. Look directly at your current experience. So if awareness is indeed limitless, encompassing everything, then it must underlie every object, every person, and every event. Everything arises from awareness, and everything is known by this all-encompassing awareness. Again, we just saw that from our experience with this tiny activity a minute ago. So nothing new needs to be created. Everything is already present within this infinite field. When you truly grasp that all is contained within awareness, the need to create dissolves. Instead, you come to understand that affirming a desire is not about conjuring it into existence, but recognizing its existing presence within this all-encompassing awareness. Here, an affirmation shifts from being a tool of creation to an act of acknowledgement. Now, it's not about repetition. It's not about convincing yourself about a truth that it is done, but simply recognizing that it is already true. This is not a belief. It's a recognition. The idea of separation between you and your desires suggests a fundamental division within reality that simply does not exist. Everything you experience, every desire, every moment of joy or pain is a facet of the same singular existence. You experiencing yourself. It's always God experiencing God. So the illusion of separation between you and your desires can often feel like a really big barrier. I know. This perceived separation is not just a misunderstanding. It's the root of all our struggles, all our dissatisfaction in our lives. So to dismantle this illusion, we can use what I call a guided pause, which is a direct pointer to the truth of non-separation. At its core, the feeling of separation is a product of identifying with the separate self, a construct of our thoughts, emotions, and personal narratives that we mistake for our true identity. So this misidentification leads us to see our desires as external objects or goals that we need to chase, acquire, or manifest. So let's begin by examining our immediate experience with a guided pause. Once again, ask yourself, are you aware? The answer is obviously invariably yes. This awareness is always present, always accessible. Now, let's locate it. Where is this awareness located? Look at your direct experience. Can you actually find a location? Can you find a boundary where awareness ends or begins? As you explore this, you'll likely find that awareness does not have a physical location. It doesn't have a limit. This is not a belief. This is based on your current experience. It permeates everything, unconfined by physical boundaries. Again, we're not convincing or believing it. We're noticing it. Is there ever a moment when this awareness discontinues? Just notice your experience. Even in states of sleep or unconsciousness, the continuity of awareness persists. This is evidenced by our ability to recall experiences or the mere fact of waking. You are aware of dreams being absent. You are aware of blank space. So awareness of absence is not evidence for absence of awareness. It kind of sounds like a tongue twister, but just notice this, simply notice this. So with these realizations, let's look a little further. Now move your attention between an external object, like a plant or chair, and an internal thought. It doesn't matter what thought it is. Does your attention hit a barrier as it moves from the inside and outside? Or does it transition seamlessly, suggesting that the division between the internal and external is artificial? It doesn't exist. Another question for you. Consider the thought, I desire love or money, and the experience of receiving affection or money. Are these not both arisings within the same field of awareness? One is not causing the other. They are simultaneous expressions of the same undivided reality. Now, bring a desire into your awareness. Observe it without attaching labels or stories. What remains when your desire is stripped of all narratives? Isn't it simply another expression within awareness, devoid of separation. By engaging in these guided pauses, these questions, the artificial barriers we've put up between ourselves and our desires, it begins to dissolve. We see that desires are not distant goals to be achieved. They're already present within the expansive field of our awareness. This recognition shifts our approach from one of achieving to one of realizing what is always here, that there was never any barrier. This direct realization that there's no separation between you and your desires, obviously it fundamentally changes how manifestation occurs. No longer do you need to create or attract what you want. Instead, you recognize that your desires are expressions of the same wholeness that you are. Manifestation becomes not a process of creation, but a process of realization and acknowledgement. So, through these guided pauses, you reaffirm your true nature as boundless, undivided awareness, or again, as some people call it, I am. So each guided pause not only deepens your understanding, but it reinforces the reality of your inherent unity with all existence. So the so-called effort to manifest, it diminishes now, and desires align naturally with your state of being, reflecting the completeness, abundance, fulfillment that are the hallmarks of your true self. Instead of practicing or struggling to reach this understanding, consider it a form of play, an exploration of what is already true. Because practice, it implies effort and repetition. Play suggests freedom, discovery. So this approach invites you to explore your true nature without the weight of getting it right, turning your journey into a joyful acknowledgement of what is. So the perceived path from your current self to your divine self can seem long and tiring if it's paved with traditional manifestation techniques. Yet this path is a construct of the separate self. In truth, no real journey exists between you and your God self because there is no separation. Only the illusion of distance maintained by the separate self. So ultimately, the journey to realizing your desires is not about crossing a vast void or a gap or transforming yourself into something new. It's about recognizing that you and your desires are not separate, but they are expressions of the same unbroken reality. You and your desires are simply reflections or revelations of who you are being. Are you identifying yourself with a collection of thoughts, beliefs, feelings that is a separate self? Or are you identifying with your true self, I am, or God self? When you live from this understanding, manifestation is no longer a practice, but a natural state of being, aligning with your external reality effortlessly with the wholeness that you are. By recognizing that there is no path necessary, just the acknowledgement of your inherent unity with all that is, you allow your life to unfold with a lot of ease. And it's just this profound sense of fulfillment that comes not just from, not from becoming or achieving something, but simply from being. The journey through these, guided pauses, the inquiry questions, is not about gaining something new. It's about recognizing and resting in what has always been true. By consistently returning to these guided pauses, these fundamental questions, you dismantle the illusion of separation and live from a place of connection, from a place of wholeness, fulfillment, where the manifestation of desires is simply a natural side effect, an extension of your innate wholeness. So pause, rest, and experience what you truly want, because separation between you and what you truly desire is impossible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.